But that being said, I'd like to move to the next question. And again, for anybody who's newer, please ask any questions as soon as they come to your mind. I'll do my best to include them here. So the next item was, if you aren't clear on your life purpose or how to make significant headway to living it with all the obligations of your current life. I get you. That's a tough one. Out of everybody I've ever met, I'd say I've met about 12, maybe 15 people who knew their life purpose and were dedicated to that track. I think I met another 200 to 500 who had an idea of it, maybe vague, maybe like an inkling, but weren't committed consistently. I think I've met about 1,000 or heard from about 1,000 who, saw their inner greatness or wanted people to see their awesomeness, but they weren't doing anything. In fact, maybe they were self-sabotaging a bit. They didn't feel a sense of self-worth. And I think for the vast majority of people, the idea of a life purpose is exciting, but it feels really far away. And I want to give a little bit of reassurance here for if you're thinking about variety in life. Life purpose does not mean you're dedicated to one thing and only one thing until you leave this body and die, if you actually even do that. What life purpose is the reason you incarnated, and you remembering that. It's just like if you have a big goal for the year, and as part of your year, you schedule your time. And tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m., you're going to do a certain thing related to that goal. Your purpose in that time is whatever you have scheduled. Of course, unless the scenario changed in a big way. So one perspective, not the only one, like you, a fellow student of all this stuff, but one perspective is life purpose is you incarnated. This is one of many lifetimes, like you have many hours in every day, week, and year. And for this lifetime, there's a certain alignment. There's this certain thing that feels really resonant. It could be cleaning up the oceans. It could be helping with humanity's awakening. It could be writing. It could be raising kids, planting trees, saving stray dogs, helping orphans, helping empower women, helping empower LGBT individuals, any purpose you might find. And the avenue to that purpose could change. And that purpose itself could change. You could have a purpose that's a deep mission, and at some point feel that that's no longer resonant. But until that point, your purpose is something that, deep down feels very aligned, that anytime you ask yourself, your inner voice says it, and says the same consistent thing. Different from the chattering thoughts of the day-to-day, judging ego mind. Different from brainstorming, even though brainstorming done well, like with methods from Stanford's D School, can be very effective, incredibly so. But it's something that's always there. And if it's something, hey, thanks for the love. If it's something that you feel deep down scares you, or you can't admit, or you don't want to commit, or you don't want to come out, or, what could happen to you, or it's way too big, okay, at least you're acknowledging those things. Don't escape, don't avoid, just acknowledge. And maybe consider that each one can be achieved. If your purpose is cleaning the oceans, ending world hunger, helping everybody awaken, raising 10 or 2 excellent kids, I tend to think big, as you can tell. I don't know how many people raise 10 kids. I think I've known, 4 or 5 families like that throughout my life. But if you think about, this purpose as a mission, and at some point, this mission needs to be achieved. You don't have to do all the heavy lifting. There's nannies out there. There's for children. There's other companies and entrepreneurs and foundations that can help with ocean cleanup. So really think about the you and where you fit in. And if you've loved Doctor Strange, as I do, Marvel Comics version in Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2016, as the Ancient One said, it's not about you. So as far as this mission as a whole, do you feel that you would feel complete if it happened without you? Or if it happened and you weren't on the cover of the magazine, you weren't on the TV interviews, you weren't the primary one being featured? If so, then you're 100% of selfless service and your ego is in the back seat. Now that's not always common, and it's not bad if it's not common, just a thing to notice. And the reason why I want you to notice this, if you care about finding or succeeding in your life purpose, is the more you care about it being you who does it, the more that can hamstring you. If I have somebody come to me as a student and they want to wake up and they want to learn advanced healing abilities, I've had 2 mentors heal shattered bones in minutes. I've seen in my own body and other people's major injuries heal twice as fast, 3 times, 10 times as fast with the scientific data, the MRIs, the x-rays, the blood tests, all of it. I've heard of rainforests from the Kogi people in the movie Aluna in the country of Colombia, rainforests that were decimated by deforestation for paper towels or whatever. And these Kogi people, these shamans, regrew the forest, helped it regrow in 20 years. And by all general measures, that would have taken 200 years. That's very practical. Are those people famous? No. Do they care if their names are chanted or put on dollar bills? Probably not. So the more you care about that stuff, the more attention will go into your own recognition. Now, there are places where that can be very valuable. For me, for example, I'm giving this workshop. This workshop is going to be added to part of the school that I have where people get it regularly. I'm representing myself, and I'm putting my credibility on the line. I'm saying a lot of things, I'm giving a lot of advice, I'm referencing some awesome stuff, but that is all a matter of personal brand and professional brand. If people take that well, if they see that well, if they see you well, that will help the brand, that will help you in your own personal, economic, everything life, and that will also help the mission. But if I was so obsessed and it was all about me, then those haters that posted a few months ago and all the criticisms that I get from people who don't get this stuff or don't care about this stuff or think I'm full of crap, I would stop. And there were a few times when I was more into myself, more narcissistic, where my ego was more dominant, where that did happen, where I needed to feel good or special or the affirmation. And even though I got 40 compliments for a certain video, if I had one or two scathing or even negative comments, those hit me so hard because my sense of self-worth is relatively low. And raising it, get the interesting phenomenon of, when you don't need something, you have it. And so there's such a weird paradox. So making practical sense of the spiritual paradox, how do you have something by surrendering it? Think about neediness in a relationship. That's a really straightforward example. If you or a partner or potential partner is really needy, really, really clingy, texting all the time, wanting you to pay attention, needing you to do certain things certain ways all the time, they get emotional if you don't or if you're not there, they really need you, they fall apart if you're not there, if there's a breakup there, you fall apart completely, and I'm speaking from knowing a couple people who are in these situations in life. This can happen in our 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, not just, when we're starting to date in our teens, if we did. And so if you're needy in a relationship, you're likely going to push other people away. And if you're needy in your career, if the video is all about you, if the book, if the ocean cleanup, if whatever is all about you, then it's a lot easier to get discouraged. So you want to find a healthy balance. If you're a pop star on stage and you want to feel awesome, then yeah, it's all about you when you're on stage. But when you read the reviews, maybe just look for technical stuff. Maybe just look for people in the know. Don't take any, gossip magazine, any gossip columnist and, be hurt by that. So there's the whole continuum of judgment. So if you want to go deeper into life purpose, please reach out to me to talk one-on-one. I want to get through the agenda and then get to Q&A for anything anybody posted. But if you really want to consider what your life purpose is, ask yourself intuitively, what is my purpose? See what comes up and write it down. Do this for 7 days. This is a 30-second exercise, right? And in those 7 days, see if it's consistent. See if it's not consistent, if there's a pattern. And I want you to keep asking yourself that question and writing the answer, even if it's a page or two, until the story is consistent. And I guarantee you that this practice, if you do it, will bring up a lot of stuff to heal, but it will help you get very clear. Say you write 3 pages of ideas and they're not compatible. You want to be a rock star, astronaut, marine diver, ocean healer, messiah, Wall Street billionaire, heart surgeon, levitating yogi with 50 kids, and they're all perfect, right? Not super realistic for most of us.